I know, I hear you.
Welcome to the garden of Rocking Horse Acres. This is our second year kind of operating this or looking after it, as me and Nick kind of do here, along with other farm chores like taking care of the animals and the orchard and stuff like that. So you'll have wildflowers in these two front beds, herbs in this one. We always do lettuce in this one here. We just planted that about 2 days ago. Nick's standing right in front of, which is amazing to have, an awesome asparagus patch. Will all come up the whole 16 feet from where he's standing all the way to the corner is all asparagus, which is great. If you come look at how it was earlier, seeing at Dylan's, like, look how small our pea plants are from not being in a greenhouse. You know, like they're so tiny. When you think about how big his were, you know, going up his were like this high in the greenhouse. Like these are just getting started. I planted them on St. Patty's, like we were saying. Did some beets and carrots in this bed. This one this year will be tomatoes, cucumbers, and peppers. This will be more of our root veg. Melon varieties and stuff will go back here, cabbages, eggplants, things like that. So coming out of the garden, we'll go check into our greenhouse. Like we just saw at Dylan's farm also, we have some of our seedlings starting to harden off. That's taking them out of the greenhouse, exposing them to a little more of the elements of the outdoors. So they can get used to kind of being in the wind, being in direct sunlight, a little bit of colder temperatures we get than in the greenhouse. We have tomatoes, eggplants, basil, some marigolds. These are melon varieties. More tomatoes are good. A little borage flower, some summer squash, and just more tomatoes, peppers. This is a mixed herb kind of variety pot here. And I come inside. It's like a mess, like all greenhouses should be. I have our seed catalog. Emma did this for me last year. This has been the coolest thing anyone's ever done for me. She organized all of our seeds in alphabetical order, put them in fucking beautiful kind of just binders like this. This has been an amazing thing. Having women in your life is a wonderful, wonderful thing. So thanks, Emma, you're the best. And just a little more just starters. We'll succession plant some things. Some more cucumbers, more tomatoes, a little more basil. Just our amendments and things like that all around. Tarps, straw, a little more compost manure. Just what a typical greenhouse is. These are cool to save. We save these to all of our farmers, just so if we want to use them as seed starts, these can go directly into the ground. These are biodegradable. So if you put your plant right in the ground, there's no need to transplant it out, like taking them out of this little cell. Like when you take plants out of these cells, you can disturb the roots a lot. So to not disturb roots, putting them in a biodegradable seed starting kind of planter is a cool thing. We always save them just from the farmers we work with all summer. But yeah, we'll take a walk to the orchard. Here are those fig trees, a closer look. Again, they're not looking too promising. I'm really hoping they come back or they can do something. I've had them for 3 years now. I would be heartbroken to see them not survive kind of the transplant into the garden. Volunteer horseradish, that seems to come back every year from the people who previously owned the farm. We've made pickled horseradish and stuff like that with it. Kind of cool, interesting to come back every year. Maybe some of the pollinators will like the flowers on it and stuff. We're not huge horseradish people. Say hi to the chickens. We got fucking the chicken Taj Mahal over here. Our dad built this a couple days ago. They have a chicken paradise. If you come all the way around, it's massive. They live in complete, I wish I could live this way. So you have 2 flocks now integrated together. We started with 6 laying hens and 1 rooster, Big Sexy. He's like what every rooster I think should look like. Started with 6 and the rooster. We inherited some of our parents' friends. So that was 7 more laying hens. So now we have 13 laying hens and the rooster. We always know the rule of thumb is for every 10 hens, you want a rooster. So he's a gangster. We love him. He's very friendly and cool too. And if not, we'd have rooster sandwiches for lunch. So he's a good guy to be around.
Big Sexy, that's it.
Yeah, Big Sexy. So awesome. It's great to see chicks like he's doing here, pecking and scratching, really showing their natural instinct. That's what you want when they see that on kind of labels. Reading food labels in a store can be a fucking whole game or a language you have to understand. Free range means they literally live in a house that has an open door that they can go free range. Doesn't mean that they do, but they have the possibility to. Pasture raised is what you want to kind of look for. You know, these chickens, when we're here hanging out for the whole day, they get access to the entire farm. But even living in just this little space right here is so much more than, you know, the average person would give a chicken. And they're very happy. They provide for us very well. They get along pretty well now, which is cool. The coolest thing about this was when we got here, this grapevine was here. It looked like shit. It was overgrown. It was neglected. Everything about it was terrible. And I took the first winter when we were here, cleaned her up, gave her a little bit of love, threw some compost down, let the chickens really cultivate the ground underneath it, threw a little wood ash down. And not knowing what kind of grapes they were going to be, could have been wine grapes, could have been table grapes, you know, weren't really sure. We got very blessed that these are Concord grapes, which are the best eating grape. They make awesome jam. One of the coolest kind of things about this property has been getting this grapevine. And as you can see, we pruned it again over the winter. It's very, very happy. It's starting to already produce its buds. We're gonna have tons of grapes again this year, which is just awesome. Yeah, so walking in the orchard, I guess immediately you'll see the 3 big old apple trees. They've been here when we bought the property. There were 5. We cut down the 2 that were kind of the most mangled and the most beat up. We pruned them last winter.
Yeah.
So last year they didn't really do much for us. They grew these new kind of sprouts or new branches, as you can kind of see. This year though is looking pretty promising, or at least a little bit. You'll see the pink flowers on some of them. This one specifically has a lot of pink flowers. Those will all be the apples. So I'm hoping this year, we'll need a ladder, which is fine, but I'm hoping this year we'll actually get some apples from these trees.
Or just,
which would be amazing.
gotta climb it.
You can climb the tree and get them, but yeah, you can start to see there's getting a lot of flowers.
Yeah, a lot of flowers up here.
A lot
really
of flowers
nice
up
sign.
here. We'll see if the branches can withstand the fruit without breaking. But these are really, really old trees. I'm sure we'll cut them down in a few years and start new. You can see they're pretty damaged. These ones were also here when we got the farm. This is a plum tree that gave us 2 plums last year. And like I was saying, you can already see all of the flowers on it. These trees from here on out should really start producing. About 3 years it takes to produce, 5 start producing well, 7 years in, you're getting too much fruit to even know what to do with.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we're starting with. This is also a pear tree. This was also here as well. We got 1 pear last year. And again, like I keep saying, you can see all of the flowers. They're all doing very well. If it goes well, these will all turn into fruit. We'll probably have to pick some off just to make sure the branches can withstand the fruit that they're gonna be yielding.
Hopefully the frost doesn't kill them.
But no way, they'll be fine.
Bird.
These will be good.
Oh.
Now our orchard that you can see the rain, looks like it's coming over, which is fucking awesome. Our orchard that we planted, this is a pear tree. Every plant or tree that I got is what's like a single species variety. So it means it does not need another sister tree to pollinate it. Pear trees typically need that. That's why we planted this one closest to that pear tree. It is still a single variety, so it does not need extra pollination, but to be safe, we put it there anyway. Wanted them to be as close to friends as they could be. Kind of same with our plum. This little one is a Dawson plum tree. There's that beautiful bluebird. So this is a Dawson plum. Same thing, kind of closer to our plum tree, at least in direct line. This is a very late yielding tree. Really good for jams and jellies, which is kind of why I bought it. We'll make some cool plum jams and different kind of chutneys and stuff out of them. Some freeze-dried or dehydrated plums.
Nectarine.
We got 2 nectarine trees. We'll show you them. That one's has a lot of cool buds on it, but it's been great. We planted these in March, and it's just awesome to see that every single one, besides the pomegranate, we'll show you, has really taken. They're all starting to bud. They're all starting to have leaves on them. So just a really gratifying kind of thing that, you know, it's paying off and it's liking our soil, it's taking into our farm. This orchard should produce well for us.
Yes.
This is the second nectarine. I could be reading you the names, but I haven't been.
Yeah, these
sorry.
are Liz Late nectarines.
So this is a late blooming one. I bought it for that reason as well, so we can have like kind of varieties blooming throughout the season. You can see it already had a bunch of blossoms on it that are hopefully turning into fruit. If we get fruit off this tree the first year, that'd be pretty cool. But we'll have to prune them down ourselves and kind of make them what we want them to be.
Oh yeah.
These next 2 are both peaches. This is Fay Alberta peach. Same thing, don't expect any fruit or blossoms. So this year, establishing itself, getting kind of its leaves starting to bloom. We'll prune it up to be the open kind of canopy that a peach tree or a nectarine tree is looking for. Apples, I'm pretty sure plums, apricots, things like that are more of a central leader. So a central kind of big trunk that goes to the middle that branches out, where a nectarine, a peach, and things like that are more of an open canopy. So you'll prune them to be open so the sun can really penetrate into the middle of it. This is a good example of that. If we maybe clipped off this one and these all grew, this would be kind of a really open thing. If you let this grow, this could be a central leader and it could grow branches out of it. But this is another peach. This is peregrine peach.
Peregrine.
Peregrine. And this is, I think, unfortunately, our dead pomegranate. We wanted to try our best to hopefully get it to go. I think it has kind of dried up, but I'm not giving up. We're gonna let it just kind of do its thing for a little bit. But I think that has probably seen its way out. We'll try again next year.
Yep.
We'll order some more and try another variety maybe.
Yep.
Another really cool thing that the whole philosophy of this farm, or just farming in general, or caring for nature, is kind of like you do things that you will not be able to reap the benefits of. And so we've been trying to think in those regards of, what are our kids going to be able to inherit? What's our grandkids going to be able to have? So we just planted 3 sugar maple trees along the driveway that are starting to kind of leaf out now, which is really awesome. But we'll be able to tap those and make maple syrup probably the next 3 to 5 years. But those should live for the next 60 to 80 years. Yes. So it's something we planted there, not just for us, but for the generations behind us. We have a few scarlet oak trees out in the pasture. Same idea. Generations behind us, we want to raise our pigs kind of around these oak trees to replicate as much as we can the Amona Iberico pigs that are foraging on oak or acorns, I guess, to make that really nutty, sought after kind of pork that everybody knows as the Black Iberico Hamon pigs.
Yep.
We have a couple pair of eagles that live on the property, pairs of hawks. Hawks are everywhere. There's the foxes, obviously. There's a den in the back. We've heard coyotes in the woods back here. Just an oasis of wildlife, the way we like it. There's Dougie. Doug. So they always say, don't name your animals. The animals here, besides the sheep, all are for food purposes. Douglas, unfortunately, will be eaten when he's no longer needed here. But we kind of have a funny thing where Indy, my daughter, has a Douglas stuffed animal. The company that makes it is named Douglas, so we have a Douglas rabbit, a Douglas sloth, a Douglas cow,
Douglas dog.
We joke that every single cow that comes to this property will be named Douglas. So yes, we gave it a name, but it's a name that doesn't have much meaning. They will all be named Douglas, but it's still a way for us to kind of connect with them. I know the energy transfer between human and animal is important, even though we are going to slaughter him and eat him at some point. But I like to know that the energy we give into him, he's going to give back to us when we kind of harvest his meat, and he's going to satiate our family for a long time.
It tastes delicious,
which is awesome. So he's a good boy. We got him from the Colemans, Sean and Andrew Coleman, Coleman's Hay Farm in Chalfont. Some guys I went to high school with. Really cool to kind of see some of these relationships come full circle now, where we weren't super close in high school, didn't know each other too well, where now we get to work together.
Yep.
All of our hay comes from them. We buy our animals from them. We bought quarter cows from them as well. Inherited with the previous owner. They are baby doll sheep. They get sheared every year.
They were just sheared, that's why they look so weird.
On April 1st, they were just sheared.
So, they look crazy.
These are the only things that will get a presidential pardon, and they'll live out their life here without offering us anything. They just kind of hang out. They came with the property, so they get to stay with the property.
You enjoying your grass out here? I know, there's a bunch of people here right now. Are you okay though?